Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Board of Aldermen meeting for Monday, August 3rd, 2026. First order of business, as it always is additions, deletions, or other modifications to the agenda. Anyone have anything they want to add or subtract? I don't have anything tonight. Seeing none, we'll move along. Amendment and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the minutes. It's been seconded. Any changes anyone wants to make to the minutes? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Motion passes. Okay, we are on to public comment. Is there anyone present tonight outside the rail who would like to speak on an issue that is not on the agenda? It looks like we have one taker, so please, if I could politely ask you to step up to the microphone like you did, and if we could have your name and address for the record.
My name is Lori Borelli. I've been on 30 Elm Street since 2003.
Thank you.
And we had a lot of problems back in that time. And there is more been building up. I don't know where is the noise coming from in the building. And this is my first time saying something. I let it rise to the point. I'm trying to be courtesy to my neighbors. And I just want to know, when is the curfew in the city?
Well, Alderwoman Davis?
I don't believe there is a curfew in the
I don't believe there is either.
Can we try to get a curfew going? I know we hear the 3 honks. That's for the kids. They get back in the house at 9.
So when I was growing up, the 10 to 9 whistle was my curfew, which I think quite a few of us lived by.
Okay.
But that wasn't set in stone. So there's nothing official as of right now.
Okay.
I think talking with your neighbors is probably one.
I tried that. There's no dice with them.
Have you called?
Yes, I called them. And I don't call the police. I try to do it my own, but so far has not worked out either way.
So you're asking the Board of Aldermen what you should do?
Yes.
Okay, well, anybody want to take a crack at that? Any suggestions?
Sure, I'll take a crack.
All right, Alderman
Go ahead,
Davis.
Sharon.
First of all, I think I would talk to the landlord, whoever the landlord is.
I told you that's not working.
Well, that's our landlord responsibility. And
Well, they're not
secondly,
really
the only
doing
other
their,
avenue is to
your
report
job,
your
so.
disturbance to the police department.
So meanwhile, I gotta walk in my building like a mouse to criticize my neighbors. And, try it with the landlord, so I can do.
That's all we can do.
Alderman Gillum?
You should probably file a complaint with the community police. Maybe they can come in and help you with the neighbors.
Okay,
That's part of what they do.
all right.
Well, you've certainly been heard tonight across the city because a lot of people are watching. You have an audience right here of officers from the Rutland City Police Department. So between all of those folks and the folks that are sitting around this table, we should be able to try to do something to help you out. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
All righty.
you, please.
All righty, Lori. Anyone else outside the rail who would like to speak on an issue not on the agenda? It looks like we do not have anyone else. So I am going to move along. Thank you very much. Communications from the mayor. And Mayor Donahue, I want to say good evening, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3 quick things. One is a plug, if police department's probably going to mention it, but I'll mention it too. National Night Out is tomorrow night, August 4th at the Vermont State Fairgrounds. It's free, and it does celebrate these people and our community together. We've been wildly successful in the city, maybe one of the best in Vermont, I think. So that's at the fairgrounds this year, though, because we're doing a little project called the CSO down at Meadow Street, as you well know. And
It's not little.
a little, exactly. True story. And but we're excited to have it return to the fairgrounds, kind of its roots. And it'll be a lot of vendors, a lot of food, a lot of fun. And that's tomorrow 4 to 7 on Tuesday, August 4th, National Night Out. So looking forward to that. Additionally, I just wanted to mention kind of an unusual highlight for the Rutland City Band. The last concert is Sunday, August 9th, coming up. And that's at 7 o'clock also. But this year they've done this thing where they have all community bands around Vermont have been invited. And right now they have 75 musicians that are going to be playing at the Rutland Main Street Park in the new gazebo with the Rutland City Band from a collection of community bands around Vermont will be here on Sunday, August 9th at 4 o'clock in Main Street Park. So we're kind of excited about that. That's a big event for Rutland and those that love that band music, and I'm one of them. So great news. And let me wrap up with this. I've been talking like a broken record for some time now about hoping to achieve at least the application and then get it across the finish line next for Tier 1A exemption for the city of Rutland. This board approved pursuing that for Rutland, and it is going to, under Act 181, with all of the requisite criteria in place, and there's a lot of boxes to check and things to have in place so that local control over development occurs in lieu of Act 250 on certain size projects, which is the way it works now. We have a certain level that Act 250 then can kick in at. This would give us an exemption from that process going forward. So it's Tier 1A exemption. It's now before the Land Use Review Board. I want to credit Ed Bove, our Director of Planning, for an incredible amount of work at dotting I's and crossing T's and pulling together every piece of this application that was submitted today. I told him I wanted to have a parade today when he hit submit on the button, because this is a big deal. This will be a calling card along with opportunity zones, which Sean Adkins is going to talk about shortly. These will be the opportunities for Rutland to stand out in the development world. And I just want to say, we have tremendous local control for development. And this affects all development, so it's housing, commercial, and industrial development. But I also wanted to say that we have, as you know, a city planning commission, a development review board, a architectural review board. We have the redevelopment authority itself. We have people in place like a zoning administrator, a code enforcement officer, a city planning commission, a city master plan, subdivisions, zoning regulations. We have all those things in place. So this isn't going to be going wild in Rutland City with development anywhere, anytime. This is just going to mean that it'll go through our local processes. It'll be timely and therefore less expensive and predictable. So this is really, really a big deal for Rutland. I'm really excited about the potential for this community going forward, and even coupled with opportunity zones that we'll have 2 of. And again, I just wanted to thank Ed Bo for the yeoman's effort to get this possibly, I believe, the first one in the state submitted to the Land Use Review Board. And lastly, I'll just say I'm hoping that we're the first one approved by the Land Use Review Board. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate this time.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments for the mayor while he's up there?
Just one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What agency is handling that?
So it's called the Land Use Review Board.
Okay.
And
What's that fall under?
is that District Environmental Commission?
Is that
might be
district?
it? Is it close enough?
Close enough. Okay, thank you.
It's an appointed board that's relatively
For
new.
this project only? Okay, got it.
For
Whole town.
development projects around, so. But, okay, very good. Thank you very much, Mayor. We will move along. There's no reports and letters from department heads, or there is lots of reports and letters from department heads and officials. First up is Barbie Spaulding, amended MPG Resolution City Master Plan. Barbara, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening.
Floor is yours.
So in April of 2025, the city received a municipal planning grant for design services for the municipal plan. And in order to file the next requisition, an amended resolution is necessary to assign the duty of the municipal authorizing official to Mayor Donahue. So therefore, I respectfully request that you circulate the amended resolution for signature.
Okay, Alderman Talbot.
Motion to suspend the rules?
Second.
Motion's been made to suspend and take the issue up tonight. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes.
And motion to circulate the amended resolution for signature?
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Any debate on that? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That was quick. All right, so next up is the RRA, Sean Adkins, to talk about the launch of the Rutland Catalyst Fund. So, Sean, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Mayor Donahue did a great introduction for that. We hopefully will be the first to have Tier 1A exemption, but I can say emphatically we will be, and actually now are, the first to have a citywide opportunity zone fund in the state of Vermont. I know of one that exists in the country. I'm sure there are more. I just haven't stumbled upon them. There's a big opportunity for us. I've already talked to outside investors and even some local ones to really unlock the benefits of opportunity zones. We've had them. We were included on the first iteration back in 2017. I would say a little bit underutilized, not just here, but across the country, in my opinion. And now we have the legal entity as of a week ago. So it's Rutland Catalyst Fund, LLC. The slogan is where opportunity meets momentum. We have projects in line already, starting with the hotel, but also I talked to somebody last week that I'll just say threw out a figure to me and that what could you do with this? And I had answers. So this is a good first step, yep. And this is the sign of many things to come. So it's really just announcing it formally. Shout out to Gordon, thank you for holding on to this article until tomorrow, because I wanted to come out and formally tell the Board of Aldermen. And yeah, if you have any questions.
Okay, so any questions for our guest tonight? Not looking for any action from the board, as you say, just letting people know about this and hopefully getting the word out. And I know the media is here, so we will do that. Everybody all set? Looks like we're all, go ahead, Alderman Gillum.
Just for people at home, this is a huge opportunity for Rutland. We have never seen this in a long time here. And this is going to give us the ability to compete with the other folks for those development dollars. And he now has the tools, the RRA and the other agencies, to attract investment here. As the taxpayers know, they got their tax bills here last week, and I'm pretty sure they're not very happy with that. The only way we're going to be able to help the homeowners is we bring more commercial tax space to the city. That's what this game is all about, is bringing more commercial tax base to help alleviate some stress from the homeowners. So this is a good deal.
I agree.
I would agree with just about everything you said. You mentioned the only way to alleviate the tax burden on our citizens is, for investment, and I would agree with that, but it's also less spending. And I think that's something that we don't want to lose sight of either.
Amen.
So, all righty. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank
If
you.
you guys have questions, you guys all know my contact. So, yeah.
All right. Very good. Thank you. So next up is Director Coyle. And we're looking to ask for permission to explore alternate carrier options for workers' comp and property and casualty coverage. And that's a subject that is dear to my heart from a few years ago.
Subject for tonight, yes, indeed. So thank you all for letting me speak. We have been working with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns for a number of years for both our workers' compensation insurance and our property and casualty insurance. Costs are not going down. Costs seem to be continually rising. Currently, in our reserves and claims, it's costing the city about $4 million a year as far as what we're holding on to for accidents and workers' comp and things. So we have started speaking with Accrual, which used to be Hickok and Boardman. They're a broker, And they do right now help us with the league and our health insurance costs, their dental, some of the other benefits. So we've started speaking with them, and they would like to shop us around and see if we might be able to get better pricing for our workers' compensation, our property and casualty insurance, and see if they can assist us with managing our claims better than what we're doing right now. So that's the reason for the request. We are required to send a notification to the league that we are going to be going out, and we have to do that within a 90-day window. So that's one of the reasons for being here. And before I can do anything, I know that we do need permission from the board to advance any kind of activities. So I am here seeking permission to be able to move forward with notifying the league that we are perhaps looking, not that we are going to sever the relationship, but also that we are going to shop ourselves around at this point. So I'm asking for a motion from the floor, from our board, to grant permission to explore alternate carrier options for workers' compensation and property and casualty coverage, which may result in lower administration costs and possibly a savings to the taxpayers of the city of Rutland.
Okay, so why don't we have a motion to suspend the rules, take it up tonight?
Second.
Alrighty, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion passes. And if you could repeat that very quickly for us, that would be great.
Sure. So
Motion.
The whole thing, the whole motion?
Yeah.
I am requesting a motion for the board to grant permission to explore alternate carrier options for workers' compensation and property and casualty coverage, which may result in lower administration costs and possibly a savings to the taxpayers of the citizens of Rutland.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Just wanted to make sure we got it correct. Any debate on that? Any questions for Ellen on what we're looking to do? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, we have a couple of entries here from Chief Lovett from the Fire Department. And Chief Lovett, Billy, welcome. First one I have on my agenda here is the radio repeater being hosted by Rutland City Fire Tower.
Yes, I was looking for permission to enter into a contract with the town of Rutland, specifically the fire department, to host a radio repeater in our tower. One of the situations that exist with radios in the marble in the mountains is sometimes penetration of radio signals into some of our areas is difficult. Helping Rutland Town is important because they are one of our major mutual aid partners. And after talking with the radio consultants and looking at the area, they determined that having a radio repeater in the area of our fire station would be advantageous to their radio system. So we've invited them to look at it. It met their expectations, and looking for permission to sign the contract, to enter into an agreement. The city attorney did a lot of work on this just to make it mutually protective, and that would be my request.
Okay, so before we get it any further, is there any financial piece to this that we should know about? Because I don't think anybody on the board has seen the contract.
I mean, the costs of the setting it up like that are essentially being borne by the town. So
Yep.
to me, it's cost neutral. My understanding
For
is
us.
it's totally cost neutral to the city.
Okay, and you've seen it and you're all set with it?
Yeah, we had some back and forth and a few changes. I wanted to make sure that there was sufficient insurance coverage and things like that, but we got that all figured out, and the select board in the town has already signed it, so all it needs is our signature.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Ready, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes.
And I'll make a motion to approve Chief Lovett's request as he stated it.
Second.
Okay, I think we got some idea of what we're looking for. Okay, all righty. Any questions for Chief Lovett on this request? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Okay, and then the Homeland Security Grant Program funding opportunity.
Yes, we became aware of this last Thursday, there is a pot of money that may be surrendered to the state for a distribution Homeland Security grant. This is something that was similar to the grant program that brought us our technical rescue trailer and our hazmat over the last 2 years. As of yet, there are no parameters on this grant. They're not sure exactly how they're going to administer it or how much money is actually coming into this program. And so it's an odd ask, but I would ask that I would have permission to seek out this grant, and if it seems to fit our needs, to apply for this grant. Typically, we always ask for permission beforehand. In the past, there has been no match on this grant. There was some talk about a 5% match, and if that was the case, we could cover it within our budget.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
All righty, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
And I'll move to approve that Chief Lovett pursues the Homeland Security Grant Program funding opportunities.
Second.
All righty, motion's been made and seconded. Any questions for Billy or for Chief Lovett on that? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
Pretty much.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so we have 3 or 4 entries here from our police chief, Chief Prouty. I have them in order here. I did have a brief conversation with the chief before the meeting. We're going to take them one at a time. There may be a couple that are going to be referred, and I think he's got a request to ask for action tonight on 1 or 2 of them. So let's just go one at a time, if I could, Chief, and welcome. And the first one is Deputy Chief Compensation Request.
Yes, so the first one, well, first, National Night Out, yes.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you for taking that. And second, you know, I was a city band member myself, but I used to practice in the Linda Lee factory after it was a dress factory, but we still, so basically, I've been around a long time. I just
Okay.
What did you play for an instrument?
trombone, but all the cool kids played back then.
It's big. It was bigger than he is.
It was a thing, right? Okay. So, and then the last thing is, before I get started, is do not get used to having 4 things on an agenda from me. So the first, the deputy chief compensation. My request is that the board make a motion to refer this matter to the finance committee.
It's fine.
Motion wherever you want it to go.
Wherever you want it.
Either one is fine
So
with me.
I guess I'll look to the board. Either one I'm chair of, so finance or public safety.
I was thinking public safety, but it
Public
doesn't
safety.
matter to me.
I'll move to refer to public safety.
Second.
Okay, motion is to refer to the Public Safety Committee, and it's been seconded. Any debate? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Okay, good. That's the first one. Command staff vacation accrual request.
Yeah, so that's sort of along the same vein. So again, I'll defer to the board's guidance on where that should be. If you believe it should be at public safety, then I would request that it would be referred there.
So I'll move to refer to public safety.
Second.
Okay, again, referral to public safety. I think that's appropriate for now.
It's easier to
It's
keep
been
them all in
seconded.
the same place.
Right, exactly. Any debate? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Okay. The next one is request for authorization to utilize opioid settlement funds. I know this is one that you mentioned you might want to ask for action tonight, so why don't you let us know what you're looking
we could
for.
take this one up tonight. So I'm requesting the board to authorize the utilization of opioid settlement funds for 2 requests, one being a community response team supervisor vehicle, and the second being a school resource officer vehicle. So I did provide in your packets the language that comes from council on appropriate use of opioid settlement money. Both of these requests are appropriate items that can be used for that money.
Okay, Alderman Talbot?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules and take this matter up tonight.
Second.
Alrighty, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
And I'll make a motion to approve Chief Prouty's request to use opioid settlement funds for the Community Response Team Supervisor Vehicle reimbursement and the School Resource Officer Vehicle.
Second.
Okay, alrighty. Motion's been made and seconded. Anyone have any questions on this one? Alderwoman Davis.
Just one, Chief, for the community response team vehicle, what are we purchasing for $61,000?
So that was the pickup truck, the F-150 that we'd already purchased, correct, Mary? We've already purchased that. So what we would do is dip into the opioid settlement money, because that community response team sergeant does the overdose response stuff. He brings people to treatment, et cetera, so it's an appropriate use. We'll take that money and pay the opioid money to pay for that, and then reimburse the equipment replacement fund out of that. And then the second, obviously, is the school resource officer.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Alderman Copley.
To that fund.
I checked it before I left the office, about 320, since the last time we spoke, there was a deposit.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, and then we do have one last one. Property and evidence custodian MOU and compensation request. That's on 22 to 25 of your packet.
Yeah, so in your packet, you should see an MOU that was drafted between the department and the union. Hopefully it's there. But anyway, it's a request. So right now I've got Bill Giotti here. You may remember him from years ago. So he was a full-time police officer at RPD from 1988 to 2000. So the only other police officer in the room that worked out of this building before we went across the street. So he went on a hiatus, decided to have a real life in the private sector, but had a midlife crisis, came back to work for us, and started as a CRS, and then took a job as our evidence custodian. But he's also a level 2 certified officer. With the issues that we've been having, we've been leveraging Officer Giotti quite a bit in the downtown in uniform. Either that, or while he's in the evidence room doing his thing, it's getting so busy that he has to don a uniform to come help out the officers. So we've been using him from like 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. He's in the downtown dealing with vagrancy calls, assisting in helping people get connected with CRSs, things like that. And this goes sort of that economic development piece where we need to really focus on downtown, and we need to have an area not appear to be broken, because the areas that look broken continue to stay broken and disorderly. So you've probably seen the presence that we're having in the downtown, but this is one part of that strategy. The issue that we have is he has 2 rates of pay. He has his level 2, I'm working as a part-time officer pay, and we have his working as a crime scene tech and evidence custodian pay. It's a bit of a nightmare for us. I prefer, since we're using him as a level 2 officer, we just pay him at that rate. The MOU allows us, it doesn't put us at any risk as far as, I know I did discuss this with the city attorney. If he would revert back to the civilian role, it goes back to that, and whatever officer is in that rate, if they take that job, let's just say Bill were to vacate the position and someone else, we could put a civilian could go into that position, it would revert to that, what that rate is for that position. And if it's an officer that goes into that position, whatever their rate of pay would be for that position. So there's no risk for the city in this regard, and quite frankly, it's helping us meet an operational need.
Okay, Alderwoman Davis, go ahead.
My question, Matt, is what's the difference in pay between civilian and the level 2?
Well, so there's a significant difference, I believe, the level 2 and a level 3. So most of our officers are level 3. So, 29. Yeah. So probably almost $8 or $9 an hour less than what our starting police officers are making. But how much more than your tech pay? About $6 or $7. So about.
I guess my question is, you're going to find that within your existing budget?
Yes, so I'm not asking for, which is easy to do with the amount of vacancies I have.
Right, absolutely. What, if I may?
Go ahead.
What count are we at?
So we're at 32 with the new commander starting today. Oh, by the way, this is J.J. Bixby, new commander for the Patrol Division. But I
Stand
have-
up and say hello. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're at 32. I have 1 on military leave and 2 on workers' comp, and 1 in the academy, so effectively at 28 available.
Thank you.
Okay, so, are you looking for some action tonight?
I am. So I'm requesting that the Board of Aldermen approve the property and evidence custodian MOU and compensation request.
Okay. Alderman Taddeo.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Alderwoman Taddeo.
And motion to approve the property and evidence custodian MOU and compensation request.
Second.
Okay. Any further questions for the chief on this request? Any debate?
Can I ask a question?
Well, certainly,
Table.
of course.
I'm just thinking ahead, I know, we'll get to this. Now, does this, change in the position make it a sworn officer position as part of the is it now included in the 32 number or the 33 that we're trying to get to? Every time we budget, we're trying to get there. So is that what it's going to be in a sworn officer?
No, because he's a level 2 and he's our part-time
Okay, so it's
person.
still going to remain
Still
there. I
gonna
just wanted
remain there.
clarification, that's
Yes.
all. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, motion passes. Okay,
have. Thank
that it? You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, and Mary, I think Treasurer Markowski, you are up next. So, welcome, good evening, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start with the June financial reports, keeping in mind that we continue to make audit adjustments, so I wrote unaudited on the report packet, so things will change as we go forward, but it's always helpful to report out preliminary numbers to you. I'm just going to go through the report that I had, the memo that I had sent. Bank account balances, as you're aware, lower cash balances than we typically have. We've had a lot of funds drawn for the project on Meadow Street. So really monitoring that closely. I can't even, this is a daily event for us in the office. What checks we've written, what deposits are coming in and really shuffling. We'll get into that in my next memo. But I want to highlight the delinquent report at the end of the year. We had $738,000 in delinquent property tax accounts. So those were delinquent accounts, right? And then when we close the books, we have everything for FY26 is now delinquent. So an additional $679,000. So we have already met with the city attorney to get a list together for tax sale, and Linda in my office has probably already entered into a few agreements to avoid tax sale. So that's what we're working on now. And water and sewer balances over 90 days are about $295,000, and we have been working on shutoffs with those and just had water collection today. So it was pretty busy in the office with tax bills out and water and sewer collection. So I want you to look at the pooled cash allocation. As you know, the city uses one account, checking account for everything pooled cash. So those proprietary funds typically have a cash balance, and you'll see that right now we have $4.5 million in when you look at that pooled cash due to the city. So that is really drawing down our cash balances, and so we want to be watching that, how that, you'll see, I think the parking fund may have had a small cash balance at the end of the year. Otherwise, we're still carrying about $200,000 due from the transit fund, and small amount from water, small amount from and a large amount from the sewer fund. And I work closely with the city engineer looking ahead at those projects and the water and in the water fund.
Then we'll highlight on the balance sheet in the general fund, the unassigned fund balance is reported still about 1.7 million. That was what we estimated when we had set the tax rate. So lower than what we want, and we just didn't have resources this year to build that fund up. So I detailed the revenues and expenses in, let's see, I will highlight that general fund expenses exceeded revenue by 1.1 million this year. That included unbudgeted post-employee payouts, increased debt service, and department overspending. So that did not help us when we went to set the tax rate, and it doesn't help us going forward, keeping that low reserve in the unassigned fund balance. When I'm looking at the water sewer fund throughout, you can see, I mean, I think it's a product overspending, increased costs, increased payroll expenses. You see that throughout general fund, water, sewer. You'll be seeing that, and into the RRA. So in the water fund, about, 99% of budget on revenues in the water fund, and expenses at 101. Expenses exceeded revenues slightly in the water fund. And the sewer fund, a little bit of savings in the sewer fund with 100% for revenues and 98% for expenses. But having said that, I still received several invoices to go through. So we, the way that the accounting works on this, anything 60 days revenue, I can move back to last year if it was an item from last year, and I can also capture anything through the end of August. The expenses can go back. So August is pretty busy just collecting those. So I'm hoping that maybe there's some grant revenues that I didn't forecast that maybe you'll go back and boost that unassigned fund balance. Just parking fund, we were at 81% on revenue, and then expenses were over budget. There were some software upgrades. Now this fund, remember, we took the position out of it, right? We didn't budget for it, but we had an officer in PD working for the parking fund. So I'm not sure, I hadn't really been able to speak with the chief about it, whether we're going to do a transfer to reimburse the taxpayers' general fund for the work that was done for the parking fund. So, so those numbers might change. Transit fund, throughout the end, I think this was right through the end of the year, expenses were exceeded revenues by 36,000. So, and in the RRA, the budget for the RRA included an additional 65,000. So the RRA expenses exceeded the revenue by 50,000 because when we created the budget, we didn't know that that 65 wouldn't be funded. So that's a challenge for the RRA. There was enough unassigned fund balance in the RRA to cover that for this year, but when we meet at RRA, we recognize that we need to find other sources of revenues there.
Okay, any questions for the treasurer up to this point? Okay, we're all set, I think, now.
And typically, the quarterly reports, I like to refer to committee in case you want to see a little bit more on that. So I would ask for a referral to Finance Committee for the year-end reports.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to refer. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Okay.
And also for the public, the quarter-end report will be posted on the website for if anyone wants to look at any of the detail. So, okay?
All right.
All right, and then I had one other.
Short-term borrowing.
Short-term borrowing. This is something you're going to see me as we're doing this. If I'm going to be transferring funds to cover cash shortfalls, I want you to be aware of it. I want you to track it for me as well, because it's something that I haven't done since I've been here. And I want you to see, you'll see on the, it wasn't in the June 30 reports, in the balance sheet, I have created 2 different liability accounts, one for the grant anticipation note. So we drew $1.3 million from that note. So we booked that on the balance sheet in the liabilities. So that was that $4 million toward that CSO project. So I already know we had 2 very large invoices, so we drew down that line of credit, and we have a requisition pending with the state to be reimbursed $1.5 million. So hopefully that will kind of roll forward and we won't have to draw from that, because that's a 4% interest rate on that. But like I said, working closely with the engineer, you can draw the funds once a month. So we kind of have to figure how that, timing on that one. So it was really tough in July to be hit with a $900,000 invoice to pay, like on the spot. So that's all that working. But I just really I think that transparency right now is really, really important on these things. So that was an update on the grant anticipation note. And then interfund borrowing. When we were in Finance Committee, I asked for approval to do that. And on Friday, after I had sent the memo, when we were looking at our cash, I went ahead and transferred $500,000 to the general fund from the Capital Reserve Fund, Fund 300, just to cover payroll and accounts payable. Now we're collecting water and sewer and collecting taxes, so hopefully that I can resolve that really quickly. I don't really want to keep that balance out there, but I will report that out to you as well. As we go forward, you never know. The mayor reviews invoices. We have a week with $130,000, and we have a week with $2.8 million in invoices. So we'll see what the next one looks like. So I really just want to keep you informed on that and keep you watching it. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Anyone have anything for Mary up to this point? On the finances? Looks like we're all set.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay, moving along. We are into reports of standing committees. Looks like Alderman Adams is up first with Charter and Ordinance.
Yes, sir. I've got 50 pages to read, so buckle up. I've got about a page and a little. There's 48 pages of supporting documentation that Attorney Gustafson has worked diligently to put together for us in ensuring that charter and ordinance changes that we make are effective. So the Rutland City Charter and Ordinance Committee met on July 27th, 2026. The meeting was called to order at 5:30 p.m. Adams asked if there was any public comment on agenda items. Stephen Box asked if this section could be reserved for items not on the agenda. Attorney Gustafson indicated items could be raised by members of the public in this section of the meeting, but the item could not be discussed during that meeting in accordance with open meeting law. The chair of the committee would need to propose the issue to the full board for the committee referral at a later date. The following 3 agenda items were discussed. Review of and recommendation to the Board of Aldermen on a proposed ordinance enacting Title IX, Chapter 16 of the revised ordinances, registration and emergency contact for non-owner occupied buildings. That's attachment B. Review of and recommendation to the Board of Aldermen on a proposed ordinance amending and restating Title IX, Chapter 17 of the revised ordinances, vacant and blighted properties, as highlighted in attachment C. And review of and recommendation to the Board of Aldermen on a proposed ordinance enacting Title IX, Chapter 18 of the revised ordinances, public nuisance properties, as outlined in attachment D. Enforceability was a common concern, and the committee determined the city attorney has adequately addressed these in his attachments. Alderman Gillum motioned that the Charter and Ordinance Committee recommend to the Board of Aldermen the adoption of the following 3 ordinances and refer them to the board for first reading. An ordinance establishing Title IX, Chapter 16, registration and emergency contact info for non-owner occupied buildings, an ordinance amending and restating Title IX, Chapter 17, vacant, blighted, and abandoned property, and an ordinance establishing Title IX, Chapter 18, public nuisance properties, and also to consider the proposed charter amendment to Section 9.8.10, 9.8.11, and 9-31. Motion carried 3-0, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, it's been seconded. Any debate, Alderman Talbot?
Yeah, I believe the city attorney suggested that we table these until our next meeting so that board members have a chance to thoroughly look over all the attachments before we approve them.
There are two options available. One is to do that exact thing, which makes perfect sense to me. The other one would be if you would want to take it up tonight, you'd need unanimous approval from the board and do that tonight. I doubt that's what you want to do, but I wanted to let the board know that that is an available route. So either tabling it or voting on it.
So that was in the explanation of the A and B, and
Yep.
option A, option
Exactly.
B, whatever it was. So, motion to table?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table till our next meeting.
That takes precedence over, yeah.
Yep.
There was a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Seconded. Motion to table is non-debatable. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, thank you.
As listed, those agenda attachments, attachments A through E, as well as other attachments are affixed. All attachments are affixed to these minutes. Meeting adjourned at 6:37 p.m.
Okay.
I would just note that I'd be happy to send anybody a copy of anything individually or anything like that, just to make life easier for review, and a Word document if you'd like to make any proposals or anything like that. Let me know. Happy to help the board read through those and make comments.
Thank you. Okay, all right, very good. Thank you, Alderman Adams. Thank you. So, I guess we're moving along to Alderman Gillum. Alderman Gillum?
Yes, I'm coming.
Okay, all right. Just didn't want to make sure we didn't lose you.
I just gotta get to the right page,
Okay.
then I will do the report. There's a lot of documents in between two reports.
Keep scrolling.
Rolling. There we go.
Want the hard copy?
Got it. We're all set. I also ran out of juice. I ran out of juice with the laptop, so. All right. I'm doing this report for Alderman Clifford, who was chair of Public Works Committee. Public Works met on July 28th, Tuesday, 5:30. Members present were Clifford, Gillum, Adams, Franzoni, and Talbot. Others present were Cupola and Taddeo. Other members beyond the board present was Mr. Garofano from the Water Department, Bob from the Commissioner, Ted, City Engineer, Kevin, our City Attorney, Mary, our City Treasurer, and Ed, our Planning and Director, Zoning Administrator. Alderman Clifford reviewed the rules, the new rules. Well, they're not really new rules, but rules that we should be doing. Clifford asked that any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda. There was none. He also asked if there was any public comment to the agenda items. There was none. First order of business to take up to review were the contracts between the city and the State of Vermont Agency of Transportation, which is also called VTrans, regarding Spruce Street Railroad Crossing and Improvement Project. The city attorney reviewed the contract addressing some of the history between the city and VTrans Railway Division aspect of the previous agreements, including the master license agreement that has been previously proposed. The city attorney discussed the approach that we took during the negotiations with VTrans regarding the Spruce Street project agreement, and that he suggested the language to be included in the attachment D, which will supersede the traditional boilerplate language included in the agreement. The city attorney stated that the special consideration was given the language regarding participating costs, not of which will be borne by the city, He discussed the indemnification provisions that he negotiated and will state the Vermont revamp contractor will carry out those clauses. The city attorney stated the additional consideration pertaining to environmental contamination has been addressed in the agreement. More especially, if it was contaminated, has been discovered, contamination was discovered, the cost would exceeds will be familiar to amount, the city will have the right to cancel the project. The Public Works Commissioner discussed the previous attempts to negotiate V-Trans. Sorry, I went too far. And the motion through all that discussion is as follows. Alderman Talbot moves to recommend to the Board of Aldermen, the full Board of Aldermen, approve the V-Trans Finance and Maintenance Agreement FM 0509, Vermont State Transportation Project 2033-38, including negotiated attachment D, and authorize its execution by the city duly authorized agent. And I so move.
Second.
Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded to enter into this agreement with V-Trans. Is there any debate on the motion? And I will just state from up here, I was sorry I wouldn't be able to make that meeting, as I am quite interested in the subject matter, and it's been quite a while getting to this point. I appreciate the work done by the city attorney, and I will tip my hat to the other side. Alderman Franzoni?
Just a comment.
Please.
I just want to thank the city attorney again. I haven't dealt with the railroad a lot in my professional business. We're not one to mess with, and we can get bullied by him quite a bit. And he really went to bat with us to make sure our butts weren't hanging out in the wind as far as the city being responsible for anything that the railroad screwed up. So just another example of how valuable it is for us to have our own city attorney, and I just want to point that out and thank Kevin again.
Ain't that the truth? So, yes, Alderman Gill.
I just had a comment in the discussion. I talked about contamination of the property. The reason why I brought that up, being on the Marble Valley Transit District's board, the two buildings that one we built and one we tore down, there is some soil issues with those two properties, which is right next to that rail crossing. So there could be a potential there, but according to the city attorney, he doesn't believe an investigation is taking place, but I think the state is aware, because I think they did I talked to them today, they did do some soil samples there, and we know what's in there. There's not really what we call oil, it's like coal waste. During the railroad days, that's where they put all the coal, and they built on those. So we are aware of those things.
Yeah, and just for those watching at home, this is the spur. This is where the railroad stores some of the cars and turns around the Amtrak train.
Correct.
So it's a vital link. So, alrighty, so we have a motion to recommend approval of the agreement. Any further debate? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion passes.
So the second order of business was Terrell Street reconstruction project. The city engineer discussed details of the proposed improvement for Terrell Street. These improvements will include replacing a 3-inch line on the late 1800 water main, which has failed and undersized. He has highlighted the fact that there has been 6 water main breaks during the previous 10 years. He discussed the average repair of the water main breaks is anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000, estimating that the city has spent upwards to $70,000 in repairs in this particular water main. The city engineer discussed the fact that the water main is insufficient to protect us for the water flow for fire protection. And obviously, we need to calibrate those pipes so we can accommodate those to protect the taxpayers up there for water flows. The city engineer discussed the additional 8-inch line, the late 1800 sewer main, which is also failing. He discussed the findings of a camera inspector. You see that in your reports, by the way, all those photos of that camera report, which is indicated there is many deficiencies and it needs immediate attention. The city engineer discussed the conditions of the roadway, stating that the portions of the street has concrete decks below the asphalt. As well, the soil is unsuitable for a road subbase. He stated that these facts, along with many of the utility patches, contribute to poor conditions of the road. He stated that if the road was to repave at its current state, the asphalt will fail prematurely. The city engineer discussed the adverse impact of failing utilities and poor street conditions have on business owners and the residents in that area. The committee discussed the benefits of investing in reconstruction of Terrell Street, particularly from the economic and redevelopment perspective. The city engineer presented a project cost of a total of $1.9 million. He presented a funding strategy to utilize the capital improvement bond, the water system capital fund, the sewer system capital fund, the sidewalk capital fund, and the sidewalk bond. The city engineer stated at this time he does not believe the city can utilize the existing capital improvement bond until the capital improvement plan is updated to include the specific components of the Terrell Street project. He stated that the administration will be updating the capital improvement plan in the near future, and if the project ranks high, the project could be scheduled to take place during the 2027 construction season. He recommends the city to secure a change order with the city contractor. He states if a change order is secured for the work to take place next year, the project cost will most likely increase by 10%. He stated that the city elects to advertise the project under competitive bid, the project cost will most likely be even higher. The city engineer recommends the city to execute an amendment to an existing engineering services agreement with Otter Creek Engineering for final design of Terrell Street project. A motion by Alderman Talbot to move to recommend to the Board of Aldermen to authorize the appropriated city official to execute the amendment to the engineering service agreement to Otter Creek Engineering for the Terrell Street reconstruction project in the amount of $12,500. Will be shared equally with the water systems capital fund and the sewer system capital fund, and I so moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to appropriate the aforementioned amount, $12,500 to Otter Creek Engineering. Any debate on that? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
Okay, and so there was further discussion. I'm just going to tell you what we were talking about. There was ideas to make Terrell Street two-way, so the ideas what the engineers will check into. There's also some opportunities that we can help the redevelopment in that area to assist to come back into Route 7 in a safe way, and putting another light for people to come back out from Terrell Street into Main Street. So they're going to look at all those things in that engineering study. And that concludes our report. The meeting ended at 6:03 p.m.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Alderman Gillum. All righty, so that's it for standing committees. We're moving along. As you see in your agenda, there is no reports of select committees, unless someone has something. Representatives, anybody have anything? Petitions, letters, miscellaneous communications, nothing. Board of Commissioners, Cannabis Commissioners, nothing. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board tonight? Yes, Alderwoman Davis.
So, just a question, because we know there was a lot of discussion about the lack of revenue coming into the city, causing not the availability of a surplus to help buy down the tax rate. So if you recall, under Mayor Dunges, there was a group, a private group, I believe of businessmen, who were looking into the 1% tax that was not being paid by the hotels that were occupied, by the state homeless program. And there was a lot of consideration that that payment was due to the city. I don't know what that amount is, but we're talking significant because we're going back pre-COVID, or at least COVID. So, with apologies, I'm good. I think it was referred to committee, and I don't remember what committee it went to. But I think what I'd like to do is refer this to the mayor, to the city treasurer, and the city attorney. The mayor to kind of reinvestigate, the city treasurer, if possible, to assess the possible revenue that we could collect, and then the city attorney to how we get it done. Because that could be some significant revenue due to us, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, so those motions been made to refer the aforementioned issue to the appropriate folks. Any debate? Alderman Gillum?
You're talking about the state's
hotel
program, not just the one on South Main, but all the hotels involved in
in
the
the
city.
city of Rutland. Correct.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, anyone else with unfinished? We got miscellaneous motions, resolutions, new business. And then you can adjourn. Anyone with any of that? Now you can adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? We're adjourned.